Happy Thursday, it's Miss Amelia at the Polk County Public Libraries, and today I'm going to show you how to make this week's Take and Make kit. So this week we're going to make soda tab bracelets. So this is a recycling activity, which is super cool. And you can pick up a Take and Make kit from the Columbus or Saluda Library with all of the materials that I'm about to show you. And that's everything that you need for this activity. So inside your bag, you should have 26 soda tabs, okay? And you will probably not need all 26, but you have them just in case you do. So the more soda tabs you have, the longer your bracelet will be. So if you have a smaller wrist, you may need fewer. If you have a larger wrist, you may need all 26. Also, there's some elastic in your bag, and my elastic is still on the cord here, but it's just elastic string, and that's what we're going to use to put your soda tab bracelet together. So when you're finished, it'll be stretchy. And then you also have some beads to go in between your soda tabs. So this is completely optional. If you want your bracelet to be all silver with the tabs and without any extra color, that's okay. Or you can watch, and I'm going to add beads to mine, but you can leave out that step if you want. And from home, you will need a pair of scissors when you are done. So I'm going to zoom in this video so you can watch me put this together. Alright guys, so I have laid out my materials. I've got my elastic here, I've got some beads, and my soda tabs are out too. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the pattern that you need to know to put the soda tabs together, and then later on I'll show you how to add the beads. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is fold your elastic in half, like this, okay? And I'm gonna take a soda tab and put it with the horizontal oval facing up, okay? I'm gonna scoot these back so you can see better. And I'm gonna take the top part of my elastic and thread it through, and the bottom part of the elastic and thread it through. That way I have something that looks like this, okay? Eventually this is going to come over here, so I'm going to go ahead and switch hands with that. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to add your next tab. Now our pattern is going to be forward facing, backward facing, forward facing, backward facing. And the reason that we do this is because any of these potentially sharper edges on the soda tab will be on the inside of the bracelet, where it's touching metal to metal. So the only things touching your skin will be the softer side of both tabs, okay? Because on this side we have the softer side out, and on this side, on the reverse side, it'll have the softer side out, okay? So I've got my next tab, and I've lined it up so it's overlapping, okay? And I'm gonna take my first piece of elastic and come through the bottom, see if I can get that in the video, this bottom hole here where they're just overlapping on the top, and I'm going to stick the elastic up through there and pull it over, okay? The next part, I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. I'm going to find that overlapping hole, and I'm going to put the elastic through there. If you were using colored elastic, it may be a little easier so that you would be able to see the elastic coming through to be threaded. But this time we're just using this translucent elastic, and that's okay. All right, so I've got my first two tabs lined up. Now I'm going to add my third tab. And just for the sake of uniformity, I'm going to keep that horizontal oval facing the top, okay? So I'm not going to put it this way. Does it really matter? No, but I want it to look nice and neat. All right. Oops. You're going to kind of hold it. After you get several tabs into this, it gets easier because they start holding themselves, okay? So I'm gonna use my top piece of elastic And this is where you have the opportunity to crisscross your elastic. Okay, so I'm going to use my top piece of elastic and I'm going to go through the bottom 2 holes. Okay, so it's going to make an X shape. There's the start of my X right there. I think you can see that. That's the start of my X. And I'm going to take the bottom part of my elastic and go through the top 2 holes. See if you can see that X now. If I tilt it in the light, you can kind of see it. So we've got the top part of it and then the bottom part of it, and it crisscrosses. Like I said, with colored elastic, this looks really cool because you can see the X's all the way around your design. But let's keep going. Let's add some more. So our last tab was facing forward. So this tab is going to be facing backward, and it's going to overlap too. And this time our elastic is on the bottom, so we're going to thread our elastic up through the top, okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. I know this is so hard to see because it's very little. And I'm going to thread this through the bottom. Okay, so it's starting to line up. You can see how it's going to hold itself. Okay. Oh, and I've crisscrossed my elastic, and that's okay. Let's make sure we don't do that. Okay, so now I've got both pieces of my elastic. We're going to do that same crisscross method and put another one on. This time we're going to add a bead. Okay, so you can see how to do that. You're going to do this with all the tabs, and you have 26 tabs in your kit. You may not need all 26 because when I used 26 tabs, that made a really big bracelet. So if you're making this for an adult, you may need all 26, or if you just like to wear it looser, you may use all 26. But chances are, since this is elastic and it stretches, and you may not want it to be loose, okay? So you may not need all the tabs, but that's okay. All right. So before I crisscross, I'm gonna take my top piece of elastic and I'm gonna add a bead to it. I'm gonna try to add a bright green one, that way you can see it in the video. Oops. No. Let's try a different one. I don't know why that one was so hard to do. So it just should slide right on. You're gonna have to push it down just a little bit. Okay, and you're gonna hold it there with your thumb. Eventually, your beads are gonna move to the front or to the back, and that's okay because this bracelet's gonna be reversible, but you can rotate the beads later on to make sure that they're all the way that you're gonna wear them. All right, so we've got that going on. We've got our bead there. I'm gonna hold the bead down with my thumb, so you're gonna miss seeing it for just a second. Oops, there we go. And I'm gonna take my top elastic and put it through the bottom 2 holes. And my top elastic and put it through the top 2 holes. So now I have something that looks like this. Okay, so what's happening with that bead is it's gonna lay right in the middle of that crisscross of the elastic. And like I said, if it rolls to the other side as you're working on the bracelet, that's okay, because the bracelet on the front looks exactly the same as the bracelet on the back. So when you get this made into a circle, it's going to be reversible. Okay, you can add a lot of beads to this, or you can just add a bead every once in a while, or you don't have to add any beads at all. Totally up to you. You're the designer. And when you get to the end of all of your soda tabs, you're going to use the end of your elastic and you're going to tie just a regular knot and tie the front part of the bracelet to the back part, and it's going to come around and make a circle. Okay, so as you're working, you're going to make this long flat piece of soda tabs all hooked together. Then you're going to roll them together, okay, into a bracelet shape, and you're going to tie it with the end of your elastic. And you just tie that in a double knot and you'll be good to go. And then you have a very cool recycled piece of jewelry or an accessory that you can wear and impress your friends. Have fun!